What's up, dude?
Hey, how are you doing?
Doing awesome. How are you?
Phenomenal. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday's right. Yeah, it's been a little crazy around here this week.
Has it? Like a good crazy?
No, not a good crazy. We changed a bunch of shit with our intake team, and then Stephanie, who's been we're transferring her over to be the sales manager, basically.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, she's been our COO, but
Okay. I felt like I recognized this name. Okay, so she's COO. Yeah.
yeah, she's been our COO, but she's been doing a lot of sales and she's phenomenal at it. And so we decided to move her over, and she's been on vacation all week. Yeah, and then I made some changes and I probably should have just waited to make changes to the whole intake process. We have 3 girls, and one of them, her name's Erica. She was the one who would follow up with all of the consults that didn't close and basically try and close them.
Mhm.
Right. And that's been her role the whole time. And then we got 2 new girls in, relatively new. And Erica's call list was just like huge, right? Every day she'd come in and be like fucking 150 people she needs to call today. It's like, God damn. And then she's doing intakes as well.
Yeah. That's
So
a lot.
yeah, it's a lot, right? I'm like, things are going to definitely fall through the cracks. There's only so many people she can call in a day. And so then I started, I switched it so all 3 of them are now like equally split with who follows up with failed consults. And yeah, and the 2 new girls are still new. And to add a little bit more chaos, one of the intake girls has been sick all week.
Oh, so, yeah. It's like just truly like the whatever can happen will happen.
Yeah. So I'm answering phones. All right. We have like all hands answering the phones. Fucking nuts.
Yep.
So yeah. How about your week? How's that?
It's been all right getting back into it. We took no sales meetings this week. Just it's like a full catch up. Nobody really worked between the holidays. So we actually gave the team off. So this week was like pretty much get ready. I took no sales meetings. We had some signings and some stuff. So like they had some of that. But yeah, like the team totally jacked up a signing yesterday. So we were supposed to, Tracy designed it as two deeds. And they were like, oh, like let's just put them both on the same deed because we can in that county. And the client like lost it. So now it's like this whole thing of like, when the design says 2, like, what do we think we should do? So it's like, it won't be the end of the world. It's just like, oh, happy. That was a great first day back. So, I mean, it's just, it's like, it's always something. Like every time you coach up through something, you learn something, you develop. It's like, it's 5 steps forwards, but it's a step back every time. It's always, I think that's the growth part. And too many people, I think, get like, that's going to make them quit or go, I'm good here, I'll stay here. And it's like, no, you're just part of it. You just keep figuring it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Growing pains. I had my weekly meeting today with our software guy for Zoho.
Yeah.
And we were just kind of joking about, I don't know how much we were joking, but I paid him a lot of money this year. But it's like, he showed me this blog that he wrote, and it was about basically, okay, you can have like a really big process, right? Or build out. But when you do that, it just like exponentially creates tons more problems and things that need to be fixed and altered. And he had like this triangle. It was like quality, time, money. Right?
Oh yeah.
It was like this, right? And so
you get 2.
Yeah, and I want all of it. So and I want things done very quickly. It's like, okay, we notice a change. It's like, I need it done now, right? I'm not waiting until next week is like an eternity for me. But yeah, as we're growing, it's just like more and more shit just comes up, and lights on. Look, I'm a mess. There we go.
I find that's always the thing with us is some of our systems have become more complex over time by nature of growth, but then we hit these pause moments of, Are we doing things just for the sake of doing them? Do they need to be done? And do they move us back to our goals? So every once in a while, we kind of have this, like, let's look at everything. Let's just go back through it. Why do we do it? And you kind of ask the question, why do I do this? How does it help us move along? And a lot of things are, but every once in a while you go, we started doing this piece and there's no reason to do it. What happens if we take it out? Oh, we speed up. We can do it better, faster. Okay, take this out, take this out, take this out. I think the nature is people hate giving things up. And so there's this fear of like, well, I'll lose it forever. Like, worst case, you just put it back in. If you made the wrong call, it's like, oh, that was actually not good. We'll just put it back in. But I think things can become bloated over time. Like, I think if we just always accumulated from 2017 to today, we wouldn't get anything done. As you add the new piece, you have to kind of take something else away. As you say, I can get more efficient here. That doesn't mean that we just add steps for the sake of it. It's this, what is the best way?
Yeah, it's also taking things out.
100%. You can definitely gain from removing.
Right. Yeah. I'm like the opposite of a hoarder. My wife, one time we had, when we lived in California, in our garage, we had these shelves and there was these like little vases in there. I don't know. They were super small. And dude, they had all this, I was cleaning out the garage and they had all this dust on them. It was like fucking there for like 7-8 years. And I got rid of them. She comes home, right? And she sees the garage. She's like, oh, it looks amazing in here. And she goes, where are my vases? Right? Instantly. Like, where? And dude, she didn't talk to me for like 2 days. They were from our wedding. They were like the flower things. They held the flowers on the tables.
Oh, you only need one of those anyways.
Yeah. Like, what the hell are we doing? Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, the year's been great. I can't complain. Hopefully next year will be, be even better. You guys have anything plans for the year to grow?
Yeah. So I mean, we're actually taking a big one. I think we've been in this like 12 to 20% growth window now for a couple of years, and it was kind of time to buckle down. That's good. A lot of firms would love to have that, but it's
20% is good.
But it's like we want the big step again. So we're actively targeting 3 million in 25. We came in just 1.48 or something here in 24. And so we're looking for a double, because then so we fall short and hit 2.7 or something. Like, that's a good year. So we're doing a lot of restructuring and gearing up to make that happen. Getting much more aggressive in marketing and advertising again. It has been a little bit comfortable. It's been easy to say 15 to 20% has been kind of easy. And you go, okay, well then let's use the things working and really dial in. And again, it's like, let's take this how far we can. I'd hate to look back and go, we could have done so much more if we just would have tried harder. Well, then let's try way harder. So that's the big push for 25, which I'm excited for. We've seen glimpses. I mean, we've had months before. We've had a couple now. We've come up to like 195,000 in a month a couple times now. So like, we can do it. So it's like, that's, already like basically 2.5. So I start going, okay, we can do that. We've had quarters that kind of match with that. So you start going, now it's just stringing it together for 12 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So are you mostly like just looking at upping the ad spend? Is that really kind of where it's starting?
Two pieces. I mean, some of the Google ads spend more. We're jumping back into LSAs to see if we get the LSAs to work here. We could not get the LSAs to work in the past. We started playing around with meta ads and pushing to webinars at the kind of tail end of last year. And that was working. So that has gone from kind of a test. Do we want to do it to a big component that we're going to do this year? So those are the big pieces there. You have showed a lot in the postcard world. So definitely that's kind of on the horizon of like, maybe we'll look at some of this one way or the other, direct mail. And then we're getting way more aggressive at past clients or people that just never worked with us. We've kind of always stayed off of our email list one way or the other and been pretty gentle with an email here and there, a newsletter. We're going to really dive into just what can we extract from basically past clients or past leads.
Yeah. Yeah. The past leads are a gold mine. They really are. We hammer that, just hammer it. Like we send 4 emails a week. Right. They're all it's all content driven, right? It's just like helpful info, but we get we get a lot of response from it.
Do you keep up the 4x per week sort of indefinitely, or is that for like a 90-day stretch and then you're done, or is that like your email cadence?
Yeah, that's our cadence. We've been doing that for 3.5 years.
So you're sending like 28x the emails we send. Right. And so I go, yeah, we can go move to something like that. We can go move from 1 a month to 10, 15, 20 plus. I think that's going to have a big benefit to us in 25.
Yeah. And I don't know why we don't send them 5 days a week. I think it's just kind of my consideration on it. Like, oh, that's too much. But like when I tell people we send 4, they're like, right, 4 a week. They often look at me like that. And but people they'll unsubscribe, or at worst case, they just delete it. Right. But they're seeing your name.
So I've been seeing that on the coaching side. So I was at a mastermind with Charlie Mann, who's a big name in the coaching space. And we got into some different things going to email. He's a big fan of 4 to 10 emails a week, really targeting. It's okay to be every single day. It's okay to be twice a day at times. And he can see in my eyes as he's telling this to the group, like, there's no way. So I've been doing that in Vertex League. I've been averaging every other day, and people are joining like left and right.
Yeah.
And so you kind of go, oh, okay, let me just write really good emails. And it's the most unsubscribes ever. But then I just see that as, okay, they were going to come work with this anyways. That's fine. The people on the list now, they're getting much more curious. And all of a sudden you go, wow, in 6 months, they're going to get a lot of emails. They might get 100 plus emails now by June, versus by June, they would have had 15. Now they might have 100 or 150. And you go, okay, this is a better model.
Yeah. Yeah, really, man. The stable data for us is outflow equals inflow, right? The more that you outflow, the more that comes in. On all channels, right? Phone calls, emails, texts, all that shit, ads.
It's the only thing you can control. It's tough talking to people sometimes of like, even here, like, right, we have these revenue goals, but when we back it down, it's what are we going to take that works and what are we going to turn the volume up on, all of these different things, because end of the day, I really don't have as much control over revenue. I have control over if this gets 100 leads, can I get that into 200 leads? And if I do that with our close rate and average client value, then that will flow into the revenue. But up front, what can I do? I can just do more of what we know works. And that's really all you can do.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It all starts with the leads, right? Okay. You're getting 100 leads. Well, if you're getting 100 leads, you can get 500 leads, right? It's like, just do what you're doing, but increase it.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So you guys are going to do more webinars?
Yeah.
Do you do any now?
So, I mean, in 2024, we did maybe 4. It was really to test out. It was start to get the deck built out and the offer and the content and kind of all of it. The landing pages, it's a big funnel, right? The webinar funnel is a big funnel. And so working on all of that and making it work to now move into, we'll probably do a ramp up. We'll probably be doing 2 a month for a month or 2, just to kind of get the cadence. And then we will be moving to every week for sure by midpoint, and then continue from there.
Okay. Yeah. We've failed miserably at seminars. We haven't done any webinars. Were they successful for you, the webinars?
Yeah, we did get clients in. We got tons of leads. They were different type of lead, and it's easy to say, well, they're cold, or our Google Ads leads are relatively cold. We definitely had habitual, like, you're my 18th webinar I've been part of. Like, that doesn't bode well for this sales conversation. If the other 17 couldn't get you in as good as I am, I'm not sure that it may not be my ability. It may be your complete not wanting to buy. So we definitely had some of those, but the people that come in, they learn, they see the pain point. They're really, you're using that webinar to steer them to that offer, and then just trying to close them there. We're actually starting to experiment too with a straight to purchase offer. So coming out with like a checkout page and just saying, hey, if you want to do this, we'll give you a discount, have the urgency and scarcity built in to the webinar with do you just want to move forward at a discounted rate to go design and engage the firm? And so kind of go that way too, to cut out the sales meeting. That way it's not like free thing plus another free thing plus engage. It's like, you got your free thing. Let's just move forward now.
Yeah. Yeah. We are, we're kind of at capacity right now in our office space, but right next door is a vacant, right? Literally right in the same floor. It's vacant. It's like 5,000 square feet. We don't need 5,000 square feet. So I think we're going to be able, a gym. There's a gym downstairs. They're going to expand upstairs. Hopefully they don't have any fucking weights up there. It's just like treadmills. But yeah, I think we're going to take, I don't know, maybe like 200 or 300 square feet of it and turn that into like a meeting room and like a seminar space.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think we're gonna use the postcards, because there's a guy up in New York who I spoke with a couple weeks ago who's doing that. He's mailing like, I think like 6,000 a month for seminars, and he's doing really well at it. He's getting like 60 people showing up per mailing.
Demographically, I think it works really well too, because I think the seminar crowd is going to be on the youngest side, like right at 65, and they're probably going to be even over retired looking for something to do, which is pushing them into, again, you do the trust planning, but like minimum some level of revocable trust. But a lot of people need an asset protection trust, or maybe depending on how your state's set up, revocable and asset protection. So you start going, client value is really high on that crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So that's one of our big plans, is to do that. And then I want to get an on-demand webinar and start marketing that right on social, and then getting them into a funnel and all that fun stuff. That's, what do you think of that?
I know a guy. So yeah, I can get you connected. So Jan Roos from Client Fuel, I think is his company's name. That's what he does. And a couple folks, and at least somebody in Vertex is doing it. Plus then a big competitor here in Pittsburgh does it, and they crush it. But a guy in Vertex is using them, and it's been like wildly successful. Jan has definitely created a great script, pages. It's just kind of a one size fits all, like not in a bad way, but like it's just I guess it's a done for you solution, and it works really well. He and I have connected a few times, and it's a pretty sweet solution that he has if you're not, I guess, geographically excluded.
Yeah, dude. Send me
Okay.
send me his info. Our Google Ads guy, we've linked up with some of he runs our ads for the law firm, but we've also linked up for like the Non-Stuffy attorney thing. And we're doing everything through Go High Level. He's super familiar with that. I was looking at Kajabi. I know you and I had talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I dug into it for a minute, and then I messaged him, and he was like, "Oh, look, I totally know High Level. This is what I work on. So why don't we just work there?" But yeah, we were talking about the funnels yesterday for the Non-Stuffy thing. And now that you mentioned this, maybe I'll reach out to this guy and get some of those scripts, pay him for whatever for it.
He does. Yeah, it's a nice system. High Level's a nice tool. I'm a software junkie because I like to test things out, build stuff out between the two businesses. It's like I'll experiment and then see what we like better, what has better functionality. So I have High Level, Kajabi, and ClickFunnels, and it's like they all are good and bad. I think Kajabi is the best portal side. Their funnels are, in my opinion, horrific. I think
portal side for the client, or
yeah. So like once you log in and you go, I want to be able to show you like a library of calls and videos and lessons and quizzes and attachments. Kajabi's side for that, like once you're logged in, is awesome. But their funnel building, like to work them to purchase or to sign up, is very weak in my opinion. Go High Level is a nice all together. I really do like the ClickFunnels 2.0 side, but it and Go High Level are pretty similar.
Mm-hmm. And you're using ClickFunnels and Kajabi, right? You're not using Go High Level. Yeah,
correct. We have Go High Level. So I initially created the webinar funnel for Zihmer Law Firm in Go High Level, and I don't like it enough to fully commit. So we're keeping everything in ClickFunnels 2.0.
Yeah. So yeah, we just need to film it and then just start doing it, create the funnel. Shouldn't be too much work, but there's always so much shit to do. It's like if I don't write everything down that needs to be done, it's like, God damn, it doesn't happen.
My lists just grow every day. Although sometimes it's good because then I go back and look and say, should we still be doing this or is this good? Sometimes it helps move other things off the list too.
I had that same shit happen today. I was looking at my list and it's a full page right now,
Yeah.
and it should be done today, my list. I was like, wait a minute, what am I thinking with that? It's like stupid. Yeah. So we want to the seminar thing. Some people are just crushing it with the seminars, just killing it, and it just makes so much sense to basically do a consult to 30 people at once, right? It's like
the webinar or seminar concept, I think, is very shared, but you have that extra element of they came in person. Like it's more time. There's more investment, even if it's free. Like there's definitely more of an investment on the seminar versus the webinar. But that concept of you're doing a one-to-many consult, like this is scalable. It's very scalable.
Right. How many staff do you got now?
So there's 5 of us total. So it's me and Tracy. We've got like an admin, executive assistant, and then 1 attorney and 1 paralegal. And so we're probably going to about double headcount this year.
You got to up it with the revenue you got in. That's like,
oh yeah, we'll definitely have to.
Be bursting.
Yes, we're very automated though. So our revenue per employee right now is around 280,000, and I do feel like our team's capable of low 300. So we always kind of watch that as we're buying back time, but then we really push to automate. So way back in like 2018, we were like, man, we're doing great. Our RPE was like 90,000 per employee, and it was like, so that we've been able to 3x that. And then I start going, I think we can get into the probably 4s longer term with continuing to streamline what we do and how we operate though. So I do take that though, instead of just like, let's double headcount. I go, well, maybe, but could we make another push and get 30% more efficient and still higher? And then does that put us at 7 or 8 people and get us to our revenue goals?
Yeah. What are you doing to automate?
A lot through Lawmatics. So all of our tasking is automated, follow-ups, touch points with the client. So, kind of is like, as our team gets work in, is they just sort of say, hey, I did my thing. It gives it to the next person. It signs the due date. It puts it on their plate. They see it as work they need to do. So that used to all be manual kind of back and forths of, hey, hey, Joe, I need you to go do this. And you go, hey, I did it. What should I do now? That all just happens automatically. We build a system. We assign all the different people that are going to be through it, from who's designing it, crafting it, reviewing it, approving it, review meeting, all the steps. It's pre-built. And then it just has an automatic flow, start to finish through it. And that has sped us up a ton.
Yeah, we had the same issue, right? We were using Close as our CRM, which is basically, it's decent, especially for like sales, but for project management, it was terrible. And now we got Zoho Projects, which has all of what you just said. Which is just, it was a hell of a job setting it up and getting everyone grooved in on it. But yeah, like I don't know how we would handle without it.
Correct. And in the PM side, it's so big as you grow. You talk to these people that are a couple 100,000, like, I'm good, I know it all. It's like, yes, you do. You're working with 35 clients total. You can remember every detail. Add a 0 to it, you're going to start dropping stuff. So just build the system now while it's easy and you have the time. Project management, I think, is like the number one thing lawyers don't want to talk about or learn about that probably can set you up for some of the most success, is just being organized and being able to know what's going on at any given time.
Yeah, and if you're not, you get that stuff that falls through the cracks, and then you got upset clients and deadlines not met, especially with probate. You got all those deadlines. It's like you better be on top of it. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried with Stephanie. It's because she's moving over to the sales manager position, and then that leaves a vacancy with our COO post. Right? It's like we had an employee who stopped working with us about 2 years ago, and she was kind of that admin role, and she took another job, and then we just approached her a couple of days ago and offered her a lot of money to come back. and we're waiting on a definite, but it doesn't look promising. I'm like, fuck. But yeah, a little bit of the problem that we're going to face with that is with her. Not all the employees, because we have new ones, but the core ones knew her. She wasn't an attorney, or she didn't have a legal background, but everyone knew her. She'd like started with us from the very beginning, basically. And now it's like, okay, if we bring in a project, just like a COO who doesn't have any legal, like, first of all, where do I find a COO that has law firm experience? First, kind of feels a little bit like a unicorn. And then, but I could find, in our community, there's definitely people that have administrative experience, but then I bring them in, and now, okay, here's this person that you don't know, and now they're your boss. It's a little bit like, it may ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, when I was on the corporate side, I mean, it's like you definitely see it from that way of they used to, they rarely pulled someone in from outside for management unless it was really unique executive roles, just because I think of just knowing the business, knowing what was going on, having the rapport with different people, that it was important inside, especially if they're not going to act externally. You're not bringing them in for external relationships. You're like, I want you to be able to have relationships here with this team. Yeah, that inside promotion's big.
I know. I don't know what we're going to do. I thought like I was taking a shower this morning, when I come up with my ideas. I was thinking maybe we hire someone that has, that has the experience that we want, but maybe hire them as like an executive assistant and keep them around for a while before putting them in that post officially.
That's what we're doing. So the is like our EA, and that's to her. We want to talk, but I think she could do that. And so we're going to have some talks here this quarter with like, if that's interesting to you, let's just start giving you some of those tasks, because they're like executive assistant, run with it a little bit more, maybe a little bit like office coordinator / manager. There's definitely a pathway to like a COO, which again, we'll need that too. But to kind of say like, right now, can you just sort of be my right-hand person and like help me knock stuff out that otherwise I'm typically doing because I need to get it off my plate?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but it's been this particular thing has kept me up, because the plan initially was to, like, when we decided to move Stephanie over there, was to just have Ashley be the manager, right? But she can do it. It would be a lot for her though, with the amount of cases we have, and be kind of a nightmare. I think it would just be a lot for her.
The sales manager for you guys do a lot of client facing, still do sales calls and follow up, or are they truly just managing it, or are they also in the trenches doing the frontline work too?
Yeah, so she'll be doing consults too. I hope not. My long-term plan is her just to manage, right? To be the actual sales manager. I spoke with a guy, Paul, last week. He's an attorney up in North Carolina. They just did like, I think about 5 million this year, and then they're wanting to do like 6.2 or something like that. He doesn't have any non-attorney salespeople. They're all attorneys. But he hires.
He's making it work.
He's making it work. Yeah. I want to speak. I didn't speak with him about his compensation structure. I wanted to, but he hires them for that role, right? So they're an attorney.
Like that's all they do.
They're sales. Yeah. And I said, well, how do you find them? And he's like, look, there are attorneys out there who don't like drafting.
I believe it.
They like meeting with the clients. And then there's other introverts who do, and they just want to do the drafting, and they don't want to handle clients and meet with them and all that shit. So, I never really took it from that. I never really looked at that perspective. And so we never really sought it out. It was always like the attorneys that we did hire was like, hey, we want you to come and learn the business. And then once you really know, we want you to do drafting and reviewing and all that. And then once you do, then we'll put you on consults. But it might, he might be onto something with, maybe we just find the attorneys who do want to do sales.
Yeah. I mean, we've always been attorney light intentionally. If you pass the bar, you're licensed. I only want you doing the things that only you can do. But we kind of look at that, I guess, tied to a compensation structure of like, if I'm paying you to be an attorney, I want you to be an attorney. That's just maybe saying you're just the best person for the job. And if comp works and incentives work, and you just happen to have JD after your name, it could do full legal work, whether you're really giving advice or not, like we talked on that other call. If that's just who the best person is, I mean, I do like that model. I'm just always big on who's the best. And typically for sales, it's someone who can sell and it has nothing to do with being an attorney. But an attorney can sell. Freaking sweet.
Right. And it's a little bit of an added bonus, right? When,
Yeah.
it's the than a non-attorney for sure. All right. Yeah. So it's really got me thinking. Like right now, Ashley's doing a lot of consults. Stephanie does a lot of consults. Adelina, our Medicaid administrator, she's doing a lot of consults. But it would be great to have just, a sales team, and then these guys are over. I want Ashley doing more PR stuff, and
Yeah.
she'd be great for that. If she does the videos, but it's not. There's a lot more to be done. Seminars and speaking appearances and writing a fucking book and whatever, podcast, all that stuff. Yeah. So lots of things.
But moving to whether it's non-attorney sales, or I think the dedicated salespeople, maybe is a better way to lump it for folks. That is a shift, because I think a lot of people are just like, well, I've got an attorney, or it's me as the owner, I've got to do everything, and then it's like, well, only the attorneys could do it. You're like, whoa, hold your horses. Like you're hiring an accountant to do the accounting, you have a bookkeeping team to do bookkeeping, you have a marketing company to do marketing. Sales, let's have a salesperson.
Yeah, like the business model that I've been trained on, right? Did you ever see that organizing board that I posted?
Yeah.
So
it's not. I mean, you're structured for. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that would grow through well beyond where you guys are at. I mean, that's a real corporate structure.
Right. Yeah. That's you can have as few as three or four people on there, up to as many as 10,000.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Northrop Grumman looked like when I was there. Like that's how it was structured in places. I mean, Fortune 1000, Fortune 500. Yeah.
But you're not supposed to be posted in multiple places, right? It's like if you're in Division 2, which is sales, for example, right? If there's nobody there, you're the head of that division. That means that you're responsible for everything below it. Okay. So if you're a sales rep in Division 2, you're not also a paralegal in Division 4 doing production work, right? It's like it just gets all fucked up. And so and that's what we have. Stephanie's going to be we have our intake team, which is posted in that division, and they don't do anything else. But as far as consultants, they're all doing legal work as well. Now Stephanie's not going to be here soon, but yeah.
So I think it turns into a priority problem. Which ones, like, again, I'm in more on a marketing front. So like I'm tinged towards, it doesn't matter how good the legal work is. If you don't have people to do it for, don't do it. But I also really do understand that doing high quality work and nailing it is really critical. It really turns into like a chicken or the egg thing. But when you're sitting in two of those seats, it's like, which one should I do today?
Sales and marketing.
But that's a big draw for that person. I see like that's the challenge, where it's easier to be like, you're just production. The next thing that comes in, go work on it. It's hard to be like, wow, what should I do from 12 to 2 today? Should I make those calls, or should I work on that draft that's getting behind now? That's hard. And as a manager, that's hard to manage that, where I like that structure of once you're in a vertical, that's your world unless we move you to a different one.
Yeah, for sure. I see that with Ashley a lot. Like I'll go in her office and, there's like, okay, money to be collected or whatever, and sales cycles. And, okay, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm working on this legal document. I'm like, okay, why don't you call that person? And she's like, well, I got to do this. And so, yeah, it's much easier, especially I think when you're not doing sales all day, right? If you're doing sales all day, it's just like, it's easy to pick up the phone and make the call, right? But when you have other shit that you need to handle, it's easier to confront the other stuff than it is to confront calling somebody and asking them to pay. right? Because then you get the human emotion and reaction from the other person. You got to deal with their originations and their objections and all that shit. And it's just a little bit. Whereas if you're just working, you're drafting something or reviewing something, it's like there's no pushback. There's no bullshit that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah.
100%. I then too have the creative side. Like if I'm building a funnel, I'm writing an email for something. That's a different energy than sales, and then definitely different from like, let me go do forecasting and just like live in Excel. And I kind of I've had to become very aware of this is a sales day. Even if I have a break, I'm staying really in sales and getting ready. I might try to, brush up or make sure I'm there's some little element I could have done better, but I'm not trying to like totally pivot to something else because I feel like then it's like I have to shift my brain in these giant swings. It's way harder than just saying it's sales day. That's what it is. And if I have 10 slots and I have 8 full, that's all right. For that other hour, I'll listen out to Nosy for a few minutes and take a couple of minutes and go back over my script and questions and game plan some more objections. But to then say like, hey, let me do a hyper creative email, like it's a no-go.
Yeah, I had the same exact issue when we first started. Same exact. It was like I had to do all the creative, website, all that, but then I'm taking inbound calls, I'm following up with people, and it was like this, ball of confusion a lot of times. And yeah, I had to start separating it. A lot of times I would just work on the creative stuff at night. Yeah, just do the sales stuff and intakes and all that during the day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Good or bad with the sales intake is it is happening basically 9 to 5. Where everything else can happen at different times. Somebody's like, I work really great at 2 a.m. Okay, like we're not having you call people at 2 a.m. You can build a website at 2 a.m. You can build out Google Ads, but you cannot pester people too much.
Right. Do you guys have remote employees?
So we have our paralegal is 3 days at her home, 2 days in office. So she's full hybrid. She was here. She moved further away. And we were like, you're awesome. We've been doing a little bit of work from home. So she's fully hybrid. If she ever said, hey, I don't really want to come in, the only thing would be she runs our signings. So it would just be a backfitting and moving people around. But if she got out of the couple things that kind of make her come in, it'd be up to her of what she wanted to do. And then we have 2 ladies in the Philippines, VAs. So kind of like non-employed contracts, whatever you want to look at it. But we're never around them. And so they're phenomenal too. So we're growing that because it's a bigger talent pool when you can look, statewide, nationwide, some of these things that globally, you can do it. I personally like coming to the office. I like my setup. I take one day, like every Thursday I work from home, and it's sort of just a creative day. I just like it, just different. But otherwise, I like coming in. So for me, I want to come in, but I also don't want to project. I used to project that on people. Like, if you won't come in, you're not the kind of person I want to work with. And then Shelby's really changed that with she's phenomenal and she's just not coming in. So now it's moved to if you can get your things done, hit your metrics, KPIs all look good, things are done at a high quality. Whatever works for you works for us.
Yeah. We've been all in office. We haven't had anyone work remote. Yeah, we've been kind of set on that. We haven't had any pushback on it. Occasionally someone will ask to work a day at home, like, oh, I have this going on. Can I work from home today? And we let them do it. But yeah, we haven't got any pushback. Maybe I'm a little bit surprised we probably haven't had more.
Yeah, so Shelby's dedicated that way. And then Jeff, our attorney, he definitely goes and stretches. So he has family in Texas. So they, more in Pittsburgh. So he goes to Texas with his wife a couple of times a year for like a week or 10 days. And then he'll just work or take a day or 2 off, but then work the other ones. He can still meet with clients on Zoom and stuff. So it's been a nice flexibility where he's super happy. And like that's a big part of, I think, one of the things he likes about working with us and being here at Zihmer. But then the flip side is like, hey, you're getting it done. Whatever, that works. I'd rather him be happy and be out of the office. I don't know if 200 some work days, if he spends 30 or 40, whether it's his house or down in Texas or whatever, that's kind of good for everybody. He hunts a lot, so like he'll take a week off, or like he'll take like a half week and be like, I'm going to work 4 hours a day. I'll like hunt in the morning, hunt in the afternoon, work in the middle. Just get your stuff done. I don't care.
Yeah. Honestly, that's kind of where we're at too, in regards to like we don't, all we care about is you getting your work done, right? Like, and you do a good job, you keep your KPIs up, right? Yeah, it's like we kind of view it as like you're protected then,
Yes.
right? The clients are happy with you, you're getting your KPI, keeping your KPIs up, right? You're protected. It hasn't really been discussed though, the working virtual or remote. The guy Paul that I spoke with last week, he's got like 40, I think he said 42 employees. Yeah. He has 4 offices, but they're all kind of spread throughout maybe a little bit of larger space. But he said he has the problem of office space. And so I guess like half the people will work in office half the week and then, and they kind of just switch
That's
back.
good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm wondering, we might get to that point. Yeah. Right now we're like, we just don't have, we can probably squeeze in maybe 2 or 3 more desks, but we're going to be kind of screwed here.
We're similar. We've got one big office. The studio could be given back to an office, and then we're it unless we double somebody up, 2 paralegals in an office or something. But it's one of these same. We're trying to aggressively grow, and it's like, do we look this year? It's like maybe let's just give it like 12 more months, hold it together, and really see. Because if we can have a big growth, like a million, like grow by like $1 million, or 6, 7, 800,000, and do that, I'd rather than take double our space and just move and get a much larger position, somewhere, because but that's a hard one. And that's tough. Like in the small business space of like, a lot of these leases, they want 10-year leases. Maybe you get a 5, but like nobody's year to year. And even if it was, the costs of moving it would be terrible over years, but it's hard to say where will we really be in 10 years? Like realistically, not like, like this is my like big, hairy, audacious goal. Like no shit. Like what are you going to be in 10 years? That's tough. And office space ties directly to that, to that equation and that big question.
Yeah. We've got 3 more years at ours. We were able to get into a 5. And then if we expand and open that seminar space up, they said they'll just tack it on to our current. So that was nice of them. So I'll expire in 3. Hopefully by that time, we're in a position where I'm wanting to purchase a building. That would be
like that. Yeah, that's not a tomorrow for us, but that went from like a who knows maybe to like, oh, that's kind of on a horizon now. I want to have a building, but then you still get into it. But again, I don't want to be 1/10 of it, but I also don't want to. We've got a financial advisor friend in the area who he built this beautiful building. He's got he rents and he has multiple offices here in Pittsburgh, and he built like his like beautiful flagship one. And like the day they moved in, they were capacity for it. Like they built it with room to grow, and by the time it got built, they were like.
They were at capacity, is that what you said?
Like in that, specifically in that office, like for everybody who wanted to be it or was assigned to it, plus the others. And like, I think they're already talking about building another one now. Like next door to it, you just go, like, that's a good problem, but it's still a problem to be, hey, we built this building and then we wish we would have made it 3 stories or 4 stories, not 2. Like, damn.
Yeah.
But it's fun being around that and seeing that stuff. Like you realize it's possible. Like we are our biggest limiters. And it is definitely not the outside world. It is us.
Right. Yeah, totally. I wonder how much it would cost to either buy a building and renovate it or just build it from scratch. Any idea?
I mean, I think you're looking to renovate. Like I think the building we're in, I think the guys bought it. We moved here in 18. I think they bought it in 17. And I think they bought it for, we'll call it 700,000. It's a big building. It's old. It's ancient. It's from like the 60s or early 70s. And it needs more and more work. And it does. Especially like our suite's pretty nice, but like if you were going to buy this building, like it needs work. I bet it's worth $1.2 million to $1.5 million plus. Then you might spend upwards of that. I don't know. $500,000 in renovations. They redid a roof that was like $100,000. Like, you start realizing like in the commercial space, everything's big. You need HVAC and chillers. Like that's not a $5,000, air conditioner. It's just everything's massive on the commercial side. And that's where I don't want to get into a building from the aspect of I don't know it. Like I don't know real estate. I definitely don't know commercial. I don't know running buildings. And it's like, well, who can I hire and bring in? Is that a smart move, or is this just a distraction from growing the law firm in Vertex? Like I already have two things going on. Is that like a third, or is there's the equity side, but right, there's this whole piece of like, damn, it's a lot to start figuring out. I don't have capacity to do it now. And then by the time, like, will I, or will I just be growing other things, and will it always make sense to just lease it, or we'll be big enough to just say, hey, I'll pay you to go figure it out for me, you know?
Yeah. Ideally that.
Yeah.
Ideally
That's
that.
hard. I'm a control freak, so like that is
Same.
never my default. And then I'm learning like, but that is the correct answer. But even here, like you hear me, like that's not my default state. My default state's like, yeah, I'm an engineer, just solve it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. This building was, I think it was the Clearwater Bar Association building for years. And then these guys, I think it was vacant for a while. And then these guys, or the current owner, purchased it a few years ago. Someone told me it was like they maybe purchased it for like 2 million, but they gutted everything. Just fucking gutted the whole building. And yeah, when we were in our previous office, I came to view it while it was gutted, and I was going to we were looking at renting it, but we only had like 5 or 6 people. And yeah, it was just what didn't make sense for it. And to build it out, right, to put that in, it was going to cost like 300-400 grand to build out. Right. It was like, Jesus. I said, no. And then must have been 8 or 9 months later, I got a call from a mutual friend. He's like, hey, who is leasing the space, mutual friend who was leasing it. He says, hey, are you guys looking for a space? And at the time, now we are, right? We had more employees, and we were having problems. The roof leaked. Oh my God, the fucking roof would leak, and he'd patch it, and then next rainstorm, this is like
identical here. Like I can like see the spot.
Oh my God. And then the straw that broke the camel's back was like our conference room. It started like we had a torrential in the summer in Florida, it rains every day for a good 20-30 minutes, downpours, and middle of one day, fucking just dumping down onto our conference table. And we only had one conference room at that time. And we had like consults, scheduled. It was like, what do we do? But anyway, the people who ended up building out this office were selling COVID test kits, and they made a killing. And then it just dried up instantaneously. It was like, no one needs COVID test kits anymore. So then they wanted to get out of the lease. And so we were able to just take it over. Everything was built out, all the glass walls, all that. Yeah.
It looks nice. I mean, you've done the videos and stuff before. And I mean, I've seen you in your office before, but like, yeah, it's nice. Where we would at least like to get something like that, like the glass setup and the newer carpet floorings and stuff. And like, just, it'd be a good shift for us.
Yeah. It makes an impression, it really makes an impression on people. We're building a new reception desk right now. We have a friend who does like custom woodworking.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, dude, it's going to look really slick. We paid a lot of money for it. But yeah, it should look, what we have now looks all right, but it's starting to get beat up. I had some guy like off Craigslist or some shit build it for us when we first moved in, but
when we came in, we got all of our furniture from Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, like for a year, until a couple years ago. But it was like early, like I literally drove a U-Haul around, picked it up, and kept it in our house in the garage until we took the space, moved it in. I don't know. I do talk to a lot of folks, and I'm like, I'm starting out. I've got no book of business. Like I'm gonna get this like baller suite and drop get the $10,000 furniture. Like nobody really cares. Like it is a nice thing down the road. Like I said, it is an impression. I've had people like, hey, your office is really nice. We never lost a client over it when it was the old stuff ever.
And it's not going to get you a client.
No. You can put that money to advertising, to postcards, to Google Ads, to SEO. That will get you clients, and you do that enough, then you go buy the nice stuff.
Yeah, hell, the first year we were fucking in our living room with the dogs jumping in the pool, doing consults there.
Yes.
Yeah, we weren't spending money on fancy desks then.
No, we were in our little old house. We shared the third bedroom. We had 2 desks next to each other, and that was our shared office. Maddie was next door to us. She was a little baby at the time. You know, when you see the like where was Apple founded in a garage, was like Zimmer Law Firm was founded in very meager beginnings, in 1,000 square foot house in the little tiny bedroom, and you go that. But that's I think a lot of the success sometimes comes from like we did all the shitty work and we did the hard work. I built out the network. I built RJ45 connectors onto Ethernet cables. I rewired the walls at night after I was working at my 9 to 5 all day. I built furniture. I did all these things save money to put the sweat equity in back in 2017 and 18 and some of 19. And then he went, ooh, it makes money now. All right, I'll buy some, I'll buy your time. You can do that so I can get my time back, go do bigger things. But I don't know. I personally think too many people think of like the Dan Martell buy back your time thing like day one when they don't have anything else going on. It's like get busy first, then worry about buying back your time.
Yeah, for us, it was I was working a sales job and I was doing okay, right? I was probably maybe 100 grand, maybe. But then while Ashley was starting the firm and all of our attention was on, at the time, we didn't have much money, right? We had 10, 15 grand in the bank if we're lucky, right?
Yeah, we're similar, man. Yeah, this sounds like a similar story to me.
Yeah. But it was all like, okay, what do we need personally to make, right, on a weekly, monthly basis? Okay, once we get that, now everything left over is going into getting more leads. That was all the attention, right? It was like get more leads, get more business. All the money went to that. All the stuff that I was doing with the website, it was all very nominal. Those are very nominal expenses, nothing, right? So yeah, anyone starting out new, that would be my suggestion. You definitely need to pay yourself first. You need to obviously live, right? You can't not pay your rent or your mortgage, but everything left over, man, just fucking put it into growing. Don't go buy a car or don't do stupid shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the path. You can see who's successful and what they do, and like you can, there's a lot of similar decisions made. And then when you see people that are like, I've been stuck in $190,000 a year in revenue for 6 years, there's also a lot of similar decisions that group is making too.
They're stuck in 190,000 revenue, and then they're taking 160,000 for their pay, right?
Not always, because some of them I talk to them, they're like, well, I pay my paralegal 55,000, I pay an assistant 35,000, I've got a VA. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing? You could do all of the work and just at least make a lot of it. Like you could at least just say, I work 3 days a week and make 165 out of it, call it a day. Those are the people it's like, and then you're only making 80. Like, this is the most ass backwards way you could possibly design to make this little money at this point.
Yeah. We didn't hire a paralegal until Ashley was just like, until I saw that she was not, I saw that she had to work late nights and all day weekends to get the legal work done. Right. That was when we hired the paralegal. Cause I was just getting her consults jam packed every day. So she'd do consults all day and then do the legal work at night and weekends. And she was doing laundry and all that, driving the kid.
Life happens. As an entrepreneur, there is not really like it's a work task or personal. It's I've got 24 hours to get the things done that need done, and I better start getting really good at prioritizing.
Yep. Yeah. You guys have a personal assistant?
So an executive here, and she does do personal stuff as well. On the home front, not as much. We used to have a nanny, but with the kids in school now, we don't have a nanny anymore. Nanny was nice, though. I think we will move back to like maybe a household manager here at some point before too long to just help with all that stuff. We both keep joking, so that's when you go, it's not a joke anymore. I think the next big home one is going to be probably some level of chef, because I like to cook like fun meals like on the weekends, but like I hate making dinner. I'm terrible at even eating lunch because like I'll never pack a lunch and I just DoorDash shit food I shouldn't eat. So then I'm always in like, I like Eat Clean Bro. That's always a good microwavable solution or whatever. But it's like, man, if we can always pay somebody to come in and like pre-pack healthy lunches and make dinner, I don't know, 4 or 5 days a week, and then we could be left to our devices on the weekend. I could be into that pretty soon. Yeah, we have a guy that does that for us. For real? Do you like how it works out? You're the first one I actually talked to about this, so I'm kind of intrigued now. Yeah, we've had him for probably a little over a year. He comes on.
we eat very clean, right? We want organic, and we want
Mhm.
pasture raised if possible. No, we don't want seed oils, canola oils, none of that shit.
I'm shifting, so you'll be proud. I'm like a recent convert and past year to this
Good.
thought now.
Good. I mean, that stuff's terrible. So bad for you. Right? If you skip it all for like a couple weeks, right? You're like conscious of everything that you eat. You don't eat any fucking seed oils. You'll notice you'll be less bloated. You'll feel more energy. You'll sleep better. All that stuff. Yeah, when we go to restaurants, we tell them we're allergic. So
Oh,
we're allergic to seed oils. We're allergic to canola oil. You need to be cooked in butter or olive oil.
tallow.
Yeah, tallow. No, good luck finding tallow in a restaurant. But they won't do it unless you tell them that you're allergic.
Oh,
As soon as you say
interesting.
the allergy, it's like a big buzzword because
Got it.
in the allergy community, right? If you go to a restaurant and they fuck you up, right? Words
Oh,
spread.
yeah. So they'll handle it that way then.
Mm-hmm.
I dig it.
Yep. Big thing there. So this guy, we pay him $350 a week, plus we buy the meats. So like our assistant will go on Friday, she'll buy a few pounds of whatever we tell her to. Usually a couple pounds of ground beef, a couple pounds of chicken, and maybe some pork. But we switch it up. And so on the weekend, at some point, he'll text me and say, "Hey, what meat do you have for this week?" And I'll tell him, and then he sends over a menu, right, saying, "Okay, here's what I can cook with that." He then and we approve it or adjust it, however we want.
Okay. Yeah.
And then he on Monday goes and picks up all the fruits and vegetables needed, and comes to our house, cooks everything, spends about 3-4 hours there cooking everything, packages it all up, puts it in the fridge in the
No
garage,
way.
and then we have food. Yeah, so we on average we're spending about around 500, 550 a week. But that gives us lunch and dinner all week.
But you're paying groceries, so it's $350 for him to do the work.
Right.
Oh, dude, I was picturing this to be way, way, way more, which is kind of maybe we need to start calling around because at that point, I mean, I spend just on microwavable meals from like Eat Clean Bro to get shipped in. I spend $100 a week just for lunches.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Oh, that would be sweet.
Dude, it's amazing. It's a game changer.
Yeah. Oh, that would be huge. Eat clean, feel better, have more energy, and just not do shit I don't want to do.
Right. And it's it became, we would order meals, like Factor 75, I think, and a couple other like paleo or some shit like that. But me personally, I can eat the same thing every day. I ate the same breakfast for 5 years every single day. Ashley's the complete opposite.
Dude, yes. I'm like you. I'm like, whatever. I can eat. It's boring. I don't care. It's one less decision to make. But Tracy's like, oh, I need all the variation with the kids and all this stuff. It's like,
yep.
All right.
So every day I'm like scrambling to get her lunch and dinner. Scrambling.
Man,
right?
so this is a good one.
Going to the grocery store and like ordering food, but then it has to be like healthy food, right? It's not like I can't just be fucking, McDonald's. It's got to be, it's like so every day it was like this. Oh my God, it was such a problem. But yeah, it's yeah.
I like that. I like that model a lot. Yeah, because we've been both just talking about like I don't really like it. On Saturday or Sunday, I like to cook. I like to make a big thing, and I'll make steaks and some fun stuff. Like I like to cook. Like that's definitely an outlet for me. It's not on a Tuesday after work. Saturday to be like, you know what? I'm going to go to Whole Foods and I'm going to go pick up all this fun stuff. We're going to make a nice big elaborate thing. Like that's fun for me. That's kind of like that's one of my hobbies. Man, during the week, that is not a hobby.
No, hell no. Yeah, we normally don't eat the meals. We'll eat them sometimes for lunch on the weekends. That's usually when we're going out to restaurants and but during the week, no, dude, it's production time.
Oh yeah. Oh, I like that. Okay, I'm gonna look at this a little quicker. I like that.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find somebody in the area. Just search personal chef, and
Because I'm picturing like, I don't know, like $2,500 a week or something, being like, oh, maybe, I don't, like we're not quite there yet, or $1,000 a week or something. Like, yeah, maybe. But oh my gosh, if it was a couple hundred, it would be super worth it.
I'll bet you if you're having the guy cook the meals every meal, right? Like, okay, he's cooking every lunch for you that day, cooking every dinner for you that day. You're probably looking at a decent amount of money. But yeah, we have like a convection oven at work, so we just put it in there for 7 minutes, and
that's sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, I dig it. Okay, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's a game changer. You don't know what you're going to learn on these kinds of shows, man.
Efficiency. But yeah, we found our first personal assistant. We weren't even looking for a personal assistant. We were and that has made a tremendous difference in our life, having a personal assistant, because we have the two golden retrievers that need a lot of exercise. And so I was at the office. I ended up bringing my bike there, and I would take them out on bike rides, and that's like 45 minutes in the middle of the day. I need to take them out on a bike ride because they're getting all antsy. And so I found this girl on Rover, and she was just great. She just loved dogs, super upbeat, really good communication. And at the time, our daughter was a competitive gymnast. So 4 days a week, she was doing gymnastics, was for 4 hours each day.
Damn.
Crazy. Yeah. But it was 35 minutes away. So I was driving her down to St. Pete at like, pick her up from school at 3:00, get her there by 3:45, drive back home. So there's like an hour, almost
an
hour driving. And then at night, going back and picking her up, another hour of driving. It's like over 2 hours of driving my daughter around. So finally I was like, hey, what do you think about driving our daughter? She's like, oh, I'd love to. And then a couple of weeks later, it's like, hey, what do you think about doing some laundry? She's like, oh, yeah, I'm down. And we just kept adding things. And yeah, she was amazing. But it saved so much. Just laundry itself was stressing the hell out of Ashley.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore. We've got a couple of those things off, but I think I was shifting to somebody that was, I don't know if it's full time or at least, I don't know, 5 days a week, 4 hours a day or something, to just handle stuff more and more would be so nice. There's just so much time running around with
grocery shopping,
putting toilet paper in each bathroom. I mean, it's right, like all these things add up, and you're like, I have an actual skill set that makes money. This does not, and it doesn't bring me enjoyment. Like if you're like, that's like the best part of my day to unwind to do it. Like knock yourself out. Like I do dumb things because I just like to. That's not one of them, No. So it's getting that stuff off and having the permission to. And sometimes it's hard. I don't know. In your family, my family, sometimes they look at that like you're supposed to cut your own grass. It's like, oh, I don't like cutting the grass, so like that's why I have a landscaper, and I don't like fucking trimming the bushes and like all of that stuff.
You get the side eye for that?
Yeah, a little bit at times, because it's like that's what I do, and it's like, yeah, well, it's not my thing. My thing is like it's hard to understand, but like I do love my work. Like I love sales. I love building a funnel. And so if I'm not hanging out with the kids, we're not going on a trip, we're not just hanging out on the weekends, in the evenings and stuff, but like, if it's like 9:00 at night, like, what do you want to do? Like, sometimes you want to just watch whatever movie, but there's times like I actually want to write emails. And I think that's so hard for people. Like I was in a career that I hated. So I couldn't relate. When people are like, I like work. I was like, I fucking hate mine. I make $75,000 a year and it's fucking awful. Well, now it's shifted and it's like, it's actually a blast. I'd prefer not do those things that used to be the outlet. Or like, oh, I'm not at work. Thank God I can cut the grass. And I was like, I don't want to cut the grass. I'd rather be at work or then be with the kids. But I'd like to be like 100% doing the thing I'm doing, not with all those distractions.
Did you have to cut the grass growing up?
Yeah.
Me too, man. I fucking hated it. It was the worst chore ever.
We had hills. Western Pennsylvania is all hilly. The yard was hilly and trees everywhere. And it's like around, like the lawnmower was like sliding down. And like, nobody ever got killed. It was probably like a small miracle.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I started out, I was like 12 or something. It was like, you can cut the grass now. So again, it's good. It's good to like have chores, and I don't want like my kids to get away from that stuff. But I've cut my share of lawns. I don't like it. Just not going to do it now.
I landscaped in high school in the summers. Oh my God. It was the worst. I made good money. I made really good money doing it for a teenager. at that time, it must have been between 96 and 99. They were making like 450 bucks a week. And that was cash money.
Yep.
I was dude, stoked, but dude, every night just beat the fuck up. You know, you walk a lot. You're lifting. Oh, it was brutal.
Yeah, it's not for me. It's not for me.
I have not cut a lawn since I quit that job.
See, but then we RV, and like I will like gladly do all the like weird work with the RV because like it's an RV trip, and then I want to do it, and I like driving the truck and towing it, hooking it up, and all the stuff. It's fun, but like it's an outlet, like for a purpose, and for that I'm okay with it. But if I did that same stuff at home, I would lose my mind.
Yeah. It's funny, once we had that girl start doing personal assistant work for us, it coincided with our revenue going up.
I believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now there was other factors involved at the time, obviously, but I think that just freed up a lot of attention units that we had on things that weren't bringing in, you know, business or revenue in any way. Yeah.
Well, whether it's an action, I have to make the phone call to call the doctor, or I have to then call the doctor to schedule the appointment and like figure out what day is best. Like that's decision fatigue. And I don't think people take it serious that like that is still a decision. And if you do 1,000 of those in a day, it still wears you down. So just get rid of them. It doesn't mean you don't go to the doctor. It just means I'm not going to make the call. Thea, I'm like, hey, can you get an eye appointment for me in the new year? Sure. Just put it on my calendar. You kind of know when I'll take meetings, when I won't. It's on the way home, preferably towards the end. I can just go there and head home at the end would be great. And, hey, it's on your calendar for 3 weeks from now. Awesome. You know, and it's like just less decisions to make. And then I can set it up in Slack, like in the evening, like, oh, I need to do this tomorrow. Hey, can you call the dealership and get my car set up for oil change and a service? Sure. You know, like, I don't care when it is, but just do it. Or they'll schedule pickup drop off. Like, just let me know which day I need to bring the car to work from home so they can come to the house. Like, just tell me what you did and I don't care.
Yes.
It again, you can just, that's another 25 minutes. You can do something productive. And I think the big one too is then maybe it's stretched with an hour beforehand and they got like that hour and a half instead of 45 minutes and then the break and the shift and pull everything up and then try to go back. It's just do the productive stuff.
Yep. 100%. Yeah, you really need people under you or people supporting you. Yeah, I should say supporting rather than underneath of you, because that's really what it is. It's supporting, and a support is, you know, the foundation of things. Anyway, but you need people that are supporting you who make decisions,
Yes,
rather than coming to you for you to make a decision. And we had that for a while with our employees, where we didn't really kind of get it at the time. But as they were always coming to the managers and the executives asking for approval on things or to make a decision on things. And finally we put a policy and said, no, you know what to do, make the decision and inform us of what you did. If you fucked up, if something bad happened, okay, whatever, we'll deal with it. Right. But yeah, you don't come to us demanding decisions. Do it and let us know.
Yeah, we moved to the funny story. So we use the Dan Martell 131 framework for decision making and to delegate it down. So in engineering, we did it all the time. They never called it anything. It was just, you know, if I went to my manager or to a senior engineer for something, it was you better come with solutions and recommendations, and then they kind of help you work through it. So I was always around it. We just never had a name for it. And when Martell called it like 131, I was like, oh, that's an easy one. Right? 1 problem, 3 solutions, 1 recommendation. And we pushed that. And now what it is like they don't even like making the time, and they have the permission to just make them unless they know they need us. So they really only come in then if they're really stuck, because they know they come in with like, I just don't know what to do. It's like, go back to your office and come back when you've got 3 decent ideas and 1 that you think we should do, and then tell me why, and then we'll talk and then we'll work on it together. And you do that enough times, they're like, I'd rather not have to have that discussion. I'm just going to tell you this is the one I'm doing. You're like, all right, good.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. You're big on, you go around to other seminars and stuff, right? You attend.
I try to. Yeah, I like learning from people. It's I like to be around others and there's a lot to be learned from people and even here, right? Learning things today. I mean, it's why I don't know. There's too many people that are like too close-minded to me. I mean, hey, you do whatever you want, but I love learning from folks.
Yeah, you been to any good ones recently?
So Charlie, man, he's a law firm coach. He hosted a little mastermind for people in the law firm support world. So nobody was coming like from a law firm. Everybody was an exec, like a legal recruiter was there. Like a fractional CMO type guy for law firms, me, some people like that. That was a hell of a room to be in. We were like locked away for all day long and just sharing incredible ideas and helping each other on things. And so again, you learn a lot like that way. Or conferences. A buddy of mine had a conference. He's not doing it anymore. I was a little bummed, but he had a conference out in New Jersey in April. Was out there, and we met all kinds of fun folks. He brought in some cool guests. He had Renee Rodriguez come in. He's all over TikTok. He's like I don't know what he is. He's like a public speaker, but he does some cool things. He took a woman who was horrified to be on stage, like truly shaking. And in 20 minutes, literally had not a dry eye listening to her story, begging for more by just the way that, it was, okay, tell me this kind of a story. Okay, great. Add this element now. Okay, I want you to think about this from when you were a kid. How does it tie? Okay, I want you to tell us that part now. I mean, it was to the point where you're like, this is incredible. So that was a fun one to see. Do you know Rob Bailey and Dana Bailey from Flag Nor Fail? So she's big in she was like Miss Olympia. She was who like became the like first like jacked female bodybuilder back in the day. They were like not super jacked. And she was the first one who was like ripped. And they would tell her like, you're not going to win. This is not the right look. And she was like, just because I'm like really good at building muscle, like, why does it penalize me? So she ended up winning like the Miss Olympia stuff. And then they own Flag Nor Fail, like a big apparel company. But their story's wild. She couldn't get sponsorships. And so they created a company for everything that they just couldn't get a sponsorship for. So like when they couldn't get supplements to sponsor her, they just created a giant supplement company. When they like were making YouTube videos and like no artist wanted to like background track her, Rob literally spun up a company. And not a company, but like a band. And have you seen the movie Southpaw?
No.
Dude, good movie. But like the main song from the movie, like Jake Gyllenhaal, is Rob's song. Like it's a big like pump ups beast song, and it's like it's cool. And it's like, oh, like that's Rob. So it was fun meeting all these folks that just run these mega businesses to be like, what could we do? Or like what challenges we're having? Like how can we learn and pivot and take things? It's just different being around a room of people that are normal people making stupid amounts of money.
Is that right?
Stupid. Yeah. Like, I mean, we were at dinner at one point, we're talking about boats, and a couple of them were talking about boats. And I'll never forget, they were like, well, like I'm looking at some 60s and 70s, I don't know, maybe an 80, and I've got like a 40 now. And I'm like, foot, I'm thinking like 40 foot, like Sea Ray or like a 60. Like, no, like meters. The guy's like, I'm buying like a 75 like meter boat. Like, fuck. Holy shit, like that's 200 some feet long. And like that's the stuff that those guys do. It was a guy who owns gyms out in like Philadelphia in New Jersey. I mean, he builds those mega gyms, and like he's killing it. And it was just fun to be around these folks that are like, I have truly put in the work. Just keep digging. You're on the path. Just take the next step. I'm just further along the path than you.
Yeah. It really is, right? It's like, we look at our law firms, and we're a lot bigger than most of them, right? Estate planning and probate and all that stuff. But yeah, we are. But it's totally 100% doable for any of them. It's just like, okay, yeah, you are where you are right now. Just keep getting better. Just keep doing the next step. Yeah. I think it can be. It's funny because I look at where we're at right now, and I have no sense of satisfaction, right? And so I look at like, I had this guy over in Tampa who's like bringing in 8 million a year, and I'm like, all right, there's where we need to get at least to that, right? We need to beat that. Whereas there's a lot of law firms that are bringing a couple $100,000 in revenue in a year, and they look at us, right, and they're like, oh shit, Um, but yeah, just never being satisfied. I don't know if I'll ever be satisfied, even though I have that huge boat. I don't think it'll.
Do you have a boat?
No,
Oh, you should get a boat.
no, I
You're in
should.
Florida. You guys should have a boat. I'd like Florida. I have a boat.
We talked about doing the boat club.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the water. It's kind of hard here. Like we got rivers and like barges, and it's shitty weather half the year. So like Pittsburgh is different. Like Florida, that's boat territory.
I know. It seems like we looked at doing the boat club, and even then we were like looking at our calendar. It's like, when would we go out on it?
Yep.
Yeah. A buddy of mine just sold his boat. He's been a big boat guy, and we had dinner a few weeks ago, and he was basically like, he looked at like the last year. He like started calculating the slip fees and the maintenance on it and the amount of times they went out. And it was so ridiculous because they only went out a few times over the last year. Like the kids got a little bit older. They didn't want to go on the boat anymore. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
I could do a lake house with a boat around here, but there's not a lot of good lakes by us. I mean, there's a couple, but there's not tons. Like certain parts of the country, like there's lakes everywhere. We have a few here, but it's like if we did that at some point, that could be fun, but it'd have to be close enough. And it's like as the kids get older now, it's more sports, more activities. We traveled a lot this year, like in 2024. And Tracy and I both said it was too much. I mean, it was good to be out of the office, just do different things, like have the fun. But it was by those last couple trips, it was like I really don't want to do this again. Like I'm tired. It's just been a lot of flying and hotels, and like it was again, it's fun. We're blessed to be able to do it, but it was like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 trips less would be okay, and like that would be okay.
How many trips you go on?
I think
you posted it recently.
Yeah, it was like 13 or 14 trips last year.
Are they all like a week long?
No, I mean we did a week at the beach. We did a week in Tennessee. We did a week in Disney. Another week in Disney. So we probably took 4, maybe a 5th trip, 4 or 5 trips that were a week, and then everything else is like Tuesday through Sunday, or like Monday, like Wednesday to Monday. We take a lot of 4 or 5 day trips. It's like it's long. It's like I just can't picture being away for a whole week. Let's work for 2 days. Yeah. I get bored. Like we were at the beach, and like all I did was read books and take notes on things I could do when I came back to the office.
I know, man. Our last trip to Puerto Rico was like I just read this one book. That's it. I mean, did other shit, but mostly, I want to get through this book. It's amazing, right? Yeah. Building a story brand.
Donald Miller.
You read it?
Dude, that was what changed me from super introverted math geeky engineer, which I still am. But like, that's what got me to tap into my creative side. That's what connected the dots for me to be able to build a website, build landing pages and funnels. That book was a total game changer for me.
Yeah. I'm still waiting. I'm still in the implementing stage. I'm like piecing it all together right now, especially for the Non-Stuffy thing, and then even our own the law firm website. But it was amazing. Now you know what's going to happen in every movie.
But then you start looking. I'm a big movie person. That's definitely like one of our like things. It's like we've got the theater in the house. And we watch a lot of movies. Like I like that. But you read that book and you are like, oh shit! Like Jurassic Park, Star Wars, Jaws. Like there's a real framework here. This is why it's so good. The reason it's so good is because millenniums old style of telling stories.
Yep. And now, you take that and you start implementing it, and then you become very interesting to others, right? It's genius. I'm glad he put it in a book format, because I can see how it's going to be like really impactful and successful.
So he has frameworks too, then on the business stuff that I've read. And then he recently came out with a coach book, like how to start up a coaching group.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tracy's a friend in a leadership group who is like really on the story brand stuff. So he got early access to the book. So he got me a copy, or got it for Tracy to give it to me like before it came out. And it was again, like all Donald Miller stuff's awesome. Some people don't like it. I'm not, again, like a lot of these people, it doesn't mean you have to fully 100% be in lockstep with these ideas, but dude, storytelling, like the storytelling frameworks that he uses, they're good. They're pretty easy to remember. You just like little details, like, well, why do people bounce from a website? Because your above the fold section sucked. because they literally, there was either no congruence from what they thought they were going to see, or it wasn't interesting. Like you get like a second. But you think about the exact same thing walking to New York City past the newspaper stand. And what made you pick up the USA Today or the New York Times that day? What was above the fold? Like with a headline and a giant fucking picture. Like, and if that was enough to make you go, oh my God, I should buy the paper today, you did. And if not, you just kept walking. It's the exact same thing with a website. People, it's like the concepts don't change. The medium changes. Yeah, TikTok's the same thing. It's like, what happens? Well, that zoom into the camera with like text and a quick 2 words either makes me say I'm gonna watch it or I'm gonna scroll. It's the exact same concept, and I think using those frameworks they're wildly powerful.
Yeah. I can't wait to get it implemented. Yeah, I'm kind of embarrassed to say that it's not implemented yet. It's been a month since I read the fucking book. God,
there's time. We're still young.
How old are you?
39. I'll be 40 this summer.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's like a weird age where it's there's definitely like the mortality stuff starts creeping in, and like I don't know, your 20s and 30s is just like whatever, and like old's like a long way off, and then I think it's 40, but I think it's coupled with having kids too. I think 40 would be different if I didn't have kids, but you see them. I mean, I don't have grandparents anymore. My last one passed in 2024. So all of a sudden you're like, my parents are the grandparents. They're older, which means I'm the parent. Like you're right, this whole shift. And all of a sudden you're like,
you're not far from being a grandparent.
Yeah, right. Like you're just as close to that as, the other way. And all of a sudden you go, damn, that's what it is. So it's been, it's good, reflective. I mean, getting geared up. So I've got more personal goals this year than I probably had in past years. Just being healthier, just wanting to kind of gear up for like the next 40. God willing, and being a better version of me. And like, I am down at work and I like work, but also not losing sight of my kids are 5 and 8. Jordan Peterson says they're only little for a little while. So just having fun, snuggling with them and reading bedtime stories and building Legos on the floor. Cause like, when that's gone, that's gone. So I'm trying to balance that too. Like, I don't, so that goes, well, you can't hit 3 million this year. You guys could hit 2.4. Okay. I want both, but I don't want 3 at the sake of like, daddy's never home. No.
Yeah, for sure. That's a fun age that you have right now. Yeah. Remember when, it was a good time. Good, very, very good time. Our daughter's great now, right? There's no drama with her or any of that shit, but just she's more of an adult than anything. She looks like an adult. Our daughter's 13, but she looks like she's 18. She acts like she's 18. I have to sometimes remind myself that she's 13. But yeah, I remember, cuddling with you and reading books, and like they look up to you now. My daughter's like, you're fucking dumb. What are you talking about?
That's really hard shift, man. Yeah. It's, so I like having the fun with it. It's, we try to balance it. And I think that's part of the travel. I think maybe we did a little extra in 24, but we do like to take the time off and be with them because I don't know. They'll be in high school. There'll be an age where they don't want to be around, and I can work till 7 o'clock at night if I want to, and that's fine. But right now, I like to be home for dinner, and I understand that somebody will do more than me because they're, what are they not willing to sacrifice? Like, what will they give up in order to get there? And we all have ours, and I know what mine is, and I feel comfortable with it. But it doesn't mean it can't change. I think sometimes people lose sight of you're allowed to be in a season. Right now, I'm in a season where my kids are little. It's a different season. Yeah, because we'll have a sitter. Like my parents will take the kids on Wednesday or something. Tree's like, what do you want to do? It's like, you want to go to like dinner at 7:30 and like work at the office till 7:30, do a project, or me and you could like brainstorm some stuff. It's like, yeah, that's fun for us. And then we'll do that, and then we'll watch a movie that night. That sounds like it's a nice night out. Like that for us, that's fun. That's not for everybody, but we dig it.
Yeah. They spend the night at the parents' house.
Yeah, Tracy's parents are like 15 minutes from us. Mine are a little closer to an hour, but they both take the kids. They like having them. So not tons, but yeah, I don't know. Not a handful throughout the year. It's nice.
Yeah. We don't have that. We don't have any family here. She has friends though that she'll spend the night at. She doesn't like spending the night anywhere. She likes the comfort of her own bed, the fans on her. She needs it to be like fucking 65 degrees. Dude, it's a scene. Her fan. She busted her friend, like hit her fan in her room with a volleyball last week. So it fucking broke one of the things off. And we have a big fan in the living room. And so all week she's been sleeping in the living room with the fan on it's the other side of the house. So there's like two different separate ACs. She's got it down to 60 degrees.
She needs her own window unit.
Yeah, she asked me for that the other day. She said, "Hey, can I just get a window unit?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, and my wife is like 115, 120 pounds soaking wet, and she gets cold super easily. So she's like miserable. Oh,
It's funny.
God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
our
but
kids are separate with this. I totally can relate. Maddie's always like 42 blankets on her bed, but fans on. Like she wants like air on her face, but then like all bundled up and like stick like plush PJs. And then Owen literally will just walk around the house all day in just shorts. And you'll pick him up and you'll be like, does this kid have a fever? He'll be like, I'm just normal hot, daddy. Like I'm good. I'm just my normal, like I'm just hot. Yeah, he can like go outside in like a snowstorm and be like, finally.
Are they into sports? They do any activities like that?
So Owen swims and he loves swimming. And so that's been a fun one for him. He's starting to show a little interest in basketball. So we'll see, we might get him into hoops. And then Maddie's playing basketball and she is into horseback riding. So that's been her big thing. She swam for a little bit. She might get back into it, but she's been really into horses. So she's been horseback riding and getting into that. So that's kind of what takes up our time between basketball and that.
Yeah, horseback riding, huh? We had a woman reach out to us recently. She's up in Georgia, maybe. She's an attorney up there, but she does horse truss.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and she was wanting us to start. I don't know where it ever went. Yeah, we need to follow back up on that. But anyway, yeah, she was wanting for us to market, for horse truss. And I guess it's pretty big here in Florida.
It's huge. You guys are like, I mean, I don't know, you in Kentucky and maybe parts of Maryland, I think are like horse country.
Yeah. And I had never really thought about it, but God, these things are some fucking $100,000, $300,000.
But they live forever. Like it's not like yes, we have dogs, right? I love dogs. I hope mine live really long because I'm starting to get older. But like a horse could outlive you. Like you picked up a horse later in life, like it could truly outlive you. You know, if you got a horse at 55 or 60 and you died at 70 or something, like this horse will outlive you. Yeah, we do. We don't do a ton. We do a couple horse trusts a year. And
you do?
Yeah. I don't know how Tracy got into it years ago, but yeah, it's not like we're known for like we do, but that's enough of a thing around here with farms and things. So we've definitely had people like, hey, we're going through everything, all like the assets. And they're like, by the way, like we've got 5 horses. Like, we could design things a little bit unique to make sure they're cared for and things like that.
Yeah, because it's not what she was saying. They're not just normal. You can't treat them as normal pets.
Correct.
Right.
I wouldn't know what to do with one. Like,
yeah, and that's what happened. She said, like these people die, and then they got a couple of horses, and now it's like, fucking horse has to go through probate, and and then who's handling the horse?
Yeah.
During the probate, right?
Yeah.
6-12 months of right. That's a nightmare.
I had friends inherit a Belgian Malinois that way. So I used to competitively dog train. So our German Shepherd, we used to compete in sport and stuff. And so some people that I knew in that world, there was a woman at a club in Michigan I used to train with a lot. And she had a super feisty, beautiful dog, good dog, but it was a working dog, Malinois, Ziva. And poor Pat, she passed away. And so her will said that Ziva had to go to a home, like a working home, somebody who knew how to handle a dog like that. So the guy who ran the club and his wife brought Ziva in, just trying to foster and find who could handle her. And if you've ever been around a Malinois, like they are, like we have a shepherd, and he's nuts, and like the Malinois are 50x, or like they are so much more. And so they just couldn't find somebody who could handle her and train her, was going to compete, work her, and all that. So Sean and Stacy ended up keeping Ziva, and she was a beautiful dog. I stayed with them a couple of times to train out in Michigan, and I'll forget. One person I was going to their house, they had Ziva. I'd worked Ziva, and she was good. We would do the bite work. I'd put the sleeve on and work her and do all that stuff. And she was a dog that you could not let it off because she would come back. Like some of the dogs are ear sensitive. So like they see the sleeve, they come for the sleeve, but they'd never go for your bare arm. Or if you didn't have it on, they're like my dog Maverick. If you don't have a sleeve on, he's like, I'm not sure what I would do right now. The sleeve comes on, he's a nutcase. Ziva was just like, I will bite you. So that it's time at their house one time, like, can I pet her, or should I no, she's fine. I petted this dog. I had a 60-pound Malinois Velcro herself to me every time I was around her from then on. Like if I sat, that dog would literally crawl in my lap.
Oh,
Yeah, she put all that crazy energy then into just like, love me.
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
How do you get those dogs? So I've seen police videos where they're attacking somebody, and it looks like the handler is maybe telling them to get off, maybe, but I'm not certain. But can you command them off?
Yeah, that's the biggest part. So the protection work is really obedience on steroids because they have to be able to go in on command and let go on command and then come back to you. So one of the biggest things that we would do would be they have to truly let go. And so the out command and the ability to out is so strong. So when I would say aus in German, let go, they are letting go. And then if I say here, come back and foos into a heel position, it was like now. And so we would work it. So we would do these things called a courage test. So you get on two ends of a football field. So I'm on this end with Maverick. The bad guy starts running at us, like end zone to end zone. And we're like the 50-yard line. So he's coming running up at us, waving a stick, being a crazy person. Courage test then is, on my command, I let the dog go. He takes off like a missile, hits the guy head on, bites, swings around. And then during the competition, like main part of training, he gets to be on him. And then when I command oust, let go, he lets go and sits there and guards, barks like a maniac in case he gets re-engaged. So we would work, though, pulling the dog off mid-run just to make sure that they understood they had to listen. So Maverick could be 30 yards away from me and I just scream here or plots, like plots was lay down. And you would watch these dogs plots and just drop and like slide through the dirt. Like, okay, you called me off. They're looking at you like, please let me get a grip. But you really get them that level of obedience. If you say stop or let go, they will.
Is your current dog trained like that?
Yeah, so that's Maverick. So we competed up through like COVID, and then COVID, everything got all weird for a while. And then it was just an age thing for him. At that point, by the time everybody was training, we went a few times, started having just more fun. We do some fun stuff in the backyard, but we're not competing anymore. He's 10. So, Schutzen's kind of it's like football. It's a contact sport for the dogs. I mean, doing all that work. So, they're jumping over hurdles, they're climbing walls, coming on in contact with the helper, the decoy. We call them helpers. It's more PC, but it's an aggressive sport for them. Just impact on their neck and jaws. So I'll put a sleeve on in the backyard once in a while, just give him some fun, happy grips. Don't make him jump anymore. And he has a blast.
Yeah, 10. How were they, about 10, 12 years they normally live?
Yeah, so I mean, he's healthy. Yeah. Both dogs are healthy. We've like a rescued mutt, Charlie. She's 11. I mean, they're both healthy and in good shape. So hopefully we still have them for a while. But yeah, the kids are always like, how long are they going to be here? Like, I don't know. So, give them the big hugs while we can. And, I don't like to talk or think about it. But yeah, they're not the 2-year-old puppies they used to be anymore.
Yeah. We, Ashley and I had a Siberian Husky. We got it. We joke. We were kind of like a lesbian couple when we met, because we moved in like within like a couple of weeks of each other. And to boot, we got a dog like 4 months after,
locking it down. I like it.
Oh my God. Right. But yeah, it was a Siberian Husky, and we were working very long hours. We were working for a drug rehab out in California, up on 30 acres up in the mountains.
Did you guys work together?
Yeah. Yeah. That's how we met. We met there.
Right on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we were luckily, Huskies they need to be exercised a lot. Right. Dude, we didn't know. It was so dumb to get that dog because we didn't know what the hell. We didn't know anything about the breed. We were just like two idiots getting a dog. We like saw it in a magazine. It was in Texas, and we were like, oh, it's one of its parents were in the movie 8 Below, the Disney movie.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I know. Yeah. So we were lucky enough where they allowed us to bring him to work. And so we would bring him up there, we tie him up, he'd stay outside all day, and the clients would take him. There's this long trail that went downhill, and then he had to come back up it. And so he would get tons of exercise. But if we didn't have that, I don't know if we would have been able to keep the dog. We were working from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like how do you leave a dog like that at home
Yep.
for those hours? You can't. So we're lucky, but he passed, I guess it was October of 2018. And I'll tell you what, I have never cried like that in my life. Ashley and I, our daughter was away on a camping trip with her school. Who I remember was a Wednesday morning, and our dog Czar the night before, right, kept us up all night because he was like crying. Yeah, and we were like, "This is it. This is the time." And we were hoping that he was just going to pass on his own, but he fucking was stubborn and never did. Yeah, and so the next morning we told Fiona like, "Hey, this might be it." So she went on her she went on her trip. We put him down, and yeah, I've never felt grief like that. My mother passed away, right? And in 2012, I didn't feel the same grief. I mean, I love my mother more than I love the dog, obviously, but for some reason, right, we fucking cried for 3 days straight. It was nuts, so wild. Yeah,
they're around you. You spend so much time together and things, especially in that stage of life. I get it.
Yeah, they never really do you any wrong either.
No, they're perfect. They're just happy to be. No, they're just happy to be there.
They don't back talk to you. They don't talk shit to you, right? Yeah, they're happy just to have you, and you care for them fully. Like they'd be, yeah. And then I said we would never. I didn't say never, but he was in October. I said we started going on like spontaneous weekend trips, and so it was so great. Right? It was so awesome. And I said, I'm not getting another dog. We're not getting another dog. 6 months later, we got another fucking dog.
Yeah.
I said to my wife, I said, look, we'll get this dog. I woke up that morning. I was like looking at him the night before. There was a breeder up in Sacramento that had Goldens. And so that morning I woke up, I said, hey, do you really want a dog? She said, yes, I said, okay, I'll go pick one up today on one condition only. Said, you are responsible for finding somebody to watch the dog whenever we want to go somewhere. I don't want to have to deal with that, because that had been my hat. She said, no problem. You know how many times she has found someone? 0.
We do have a dog sitter, and that is different. I mean, that's part of why we are bees, because we can take the dogs with us then on so many trips. But then when we go to Disney or here down here neck of the woods, we have a dog sitter. Somebody just comes stays at the house, which helps a ton, because otherwise, that is the tricky part with the dogs is they need stuff.
Yeah, we have a sitter too now. Well, our first assistant, she'll watch them, and then our current assistant, it was kind of built into the contract that she would watch them. I think it's
smart.
Yeah, for like one weekend, like four nights.
It's like a National Guard commandment. one weekend a year, 2 weeks a month, or a year, whatever.
Yep. Oh man. Wow, we've been on for about an hour and almost 40 now. Yeah.
This is good. I see how, Rogan, that's a war doing the 3 hours though. I mean, this is fun. I mean, but like you go to double this, that is no joke. And he does it
3 hours, right?
He does it all the time.
He's sitting there with his whiskey and his cigars and all that.
His studio is badass though.
Oh, killer. I wonder if is it at his house, or does he have a...
Yeah, I don't know, because he moved from California to Texas, and I don't remember. I guess he could have recreated it. Rex, I've got this gut feeling that it's at his house. I don't know.
Me too. Same. Yeah.
It's sweet though.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. Well, we probably call it quits. I should probably get some law firm work done today.
I dig it, man. It's been good.
Yeah, for sure. Cheers to successful 25.
Yeah, let's have a big 2025.
Yeah, we'll do a podcast again in the near future.
Cool, man. Always up for it. All right.
Awesome. Talk to you soon.
Okay.